Joining me now from Beijing is Tong Zhao. He's a fellow in the nuclear policy program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. We've seen, both sides basically flexing their muscles. These tests, missile launches from the DPRK, and the U.S. Air Force flying B-1 bombers near the DPRK border. How do you view things right now? I mean, how bad is this situation in your view?
Well, I think the situation is certainly very tense. North Korea has accelerated its ICBM test, and in return, the U.S. has again flew strategic bombers B-1 into the airspace of the Korean Peninsula. And also, South Korea has moved up the pace of completing the THAAD missile defense system deployment. I think it's the moment when everyone needs to slow down and reflect on their own strategies. Right now, I think everyone is just responding intuitively according to their preset plan. But the moment is ripe for people to reflect on their overall strategy to deal with North Korea. For the United States, a key question to ask is what more economic sanctions does the United States expect to be included in the next UN resolution, and what results does the U.S. expect from such new sanctions? Why does the U.S. believe more sanctions will do the work to fundamentally change North Korea's nuclear policy? It's also important for South Korea to explain why it believes that it needs to deploy this THAAD system, which is a system for intercepting medium-range missiles, why this is helpful after the North Korea launches ICBM, which is a threat to the homeland of the United States. There is no apparent connection between the two. And now I think both countries are very frustrated, so they are venting their frustration towards China. But I think there are key questions these countries need to answer in order to really defuse the tensions.
And as they look for the answers, what should the strategies be?
Well, I think at this moment, countries have fundamental disagreements about some basic issues. At the very basic level, a key question is, what will North Korea do with its nuclear weapons? There is a very good article published yesterday, written by a famous American scholar, arguing that the North Korea nuclear program is simply for self-survival and defense. It has no intention to use its nuclear weapons for coercive purposes, and therefore we may have to learn to live with the nuclear armed North Korea. But there are also, American and South Korean officials, experts, who firmly believe that with the nuclear armed North Korea will try to use its nuclear coercion to compel the United States out of the Korean Peninsula, and then to coerce South Korea into reunification on North Korean terms. And that divergence really drives countries to have very different strategies. And also, there is no consensus about what role should economic sanctions play, how much sanctions are necessary to achieve what goal. I think countries do need to sit down and have some substantive discussions on these fundamental issues.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. Tong Zhao, thank you so much for joining us from Beijing.